27th December 2007.
Many Kenyans had hoped that the Kriegler Commission would, after its 6-month probe, provide answers as to exactly what went wrong in last year's controversial elections. The report handed to President Mwai Kibaki today, which will be made public on Friday, albeit being over 100 pages long, is however short on details. It nonetheless returns a damning verdict on the controversial polls. According to the Commission, its examination of both parliamentary and presidential election results revealed that very few of the officially published figures from across the country were accurate.
We have been frank, we have been outspoken, we have not hesitated to look as clinically and critically as you told us to.
The Commission finds ECK guilty of not only incompetence but grossly mismanaging the elections, failing through the counting, tallying and results announcing process. In this regard, Kriegler calls for an overhaul of the ECK with a thorough review of management systems as a matter of urgency. The Commission also proposes legal amendments making it compulsory for the President to consult widely when appointing commissioners. Parliament should also play a role in the appointments. The report also documents cases of electoral fraud, manifesting in unusually high voter turnout figures reported in the strongholds of both main political parties, which the Commission views as an indication of stuffing of ballot boxes, organized impersonation of absent voters, voter buying and bribery. While the Commission widely blames CCK for failing to curb the irregularities, it also hits out at the police and the Attorney General for failure to enforce the law. According to the Commission, flaws in the electoral process begin with the voter register, arguing that apart from leaving out nearly 30% of voting-age Kenyans, nearly 1.2 million registered voters are dead, and the use of the black book at the polls made it possible for repeat voting and other abuses of the voting process. The Commission proposes a new registration system that integrates issuance of IDs with registration of voters, and that voters be allowed to vote with national ID or passport without voter's card.
Crucially, the integrity of the electoral process, we have found, is subject to serious criticism. This was not the first election in Kenya that ended up in violence. It is not the first election that was marred by a number of features well before the counting process that elicited so much public comment.
Other key recommendations in the report include the formation of a boundary review commission to immediately oversee the revision of constituency boundaries for more equitable representation, giving ECK prosecutorial powers on all electoral crimes, establishing special electoral tribunal for post-election dispute resolution, among other legal amendments. Kriegler, however, warns that amending the law is not sufficient, as Kenyans need to deal with a seemingly entrenched culture of impunity which makes electoral fraud widely acceptable. While the Commission has not answered the question exactly who won last year's contested elections, it does provide a roadmap to ensure that the country does not return to the dark period that followed the elections. The question to the coalition government is how well and how far they are willing to implement the recommendations. Newton Debu, KTN at Harambee House in Nairobi.